responses in the comment section. Yeah, cool, cool. Okay, awesome. So before starting, has anyone given interview like in Google or any other man or FANG related companies? Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, I think a lot of, okay, not a lot of people, but yeah, some of the folks have given interviews in big tech companies. Okay, I have my interview in a week. Okay, all the best. Cool. So that's nice. I will gonna discuss this only. So the first thing is that how the like what the Google SWE interview structure looks like. So I have divided it into three parts. So it is like by saying this, don't get confused that it's three rounds. It is not three rounds. It is three parts where you can, if you are an entry level engineer, you can expect probably 2 to 3 TSA rounds or more than that. And you can expect one system design round if you have a decent experience. If you're a fresher, then you can like this round might not be there for you, but yeah, there will be like the DSA round will extensively be there. There will be like 3 to 4 DSA rounds for you if you are an entry level engineer. And after that, you will have a Googliness round. So in other companies, you also call it a behavioral or a managerial round. Here at Google, we call it a Googliness round. So what does all the rounds look like? So in DSA round, you'll be like the interview will be asking you a data structure and algorithms related problem, and you will be given approximately 45 to 60 minutes to solve this. In the most of the cases, there are 45 minutes given for solving the problem, right? And you are expected to come up with a optimal solution within this time frame. The second part is the system design round. Here, this is generally asked to the candidates who have a pretty decent experience. So if you have a very good experience in software engineering and technical domain, then this round will be probably be pretty extensive. They can ask you to design a system or a small part of a big system, and they will gonna focus on a lot of nitty gritty details in it. This round, these kind of rounds are big as compared to DSA, so you will be probably allotted at least 60 minutes for this. And after that, there is a googliness round. It's not a very extensive round. Basically, the manager or a hiring manager takes this round. They probably ask you scenario based questions like if you were supposed to be in this situation, then what you will do, or have you faced this kind of situation in past, and if yes, then what you did. So these are the kind of questions which are asked in the behavioral round. These kind of round exist in the range of 30 to 45 minutes, probably 30 minutes. But yeah, so these are the basic three uh, divisions, like three kind of interviews which you can expect if you are giving a Google SWE interview, right? Okay, any doubts in this schedule or the interview structure? If no, we'll plan to move ahead. Okay, no, not in product-based company, but given in service-based. Okay, that is cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's move ahead. So as I mentioned, I'll be probably कुछ बताया है क्या? नहीं, I haven't uh, mentioned anything before than that. So abhi start hua, like we are just getting started. It was the first slide. What's googliness round? Again, so googliness round is basically the behavioral or managerial round where a hiring manager asks you some situational questions like how would you resolve conflicts in your project, or how would you handle a particular person who is not being productive or not getting the job done. These kind of questions are there, right? Okay, so let's focus on this one, data structure algorithms now, what it is all about. So the first thing is that you are expected to solve at least one DSA problem. It can be two problems as well. If you manage to solve one problem maybe within 15 to 20 minutes of time, then interviewer can utilize the remaining time frame to ask you a follow-up question of this particular DSA problem, or they can ask a entirely different problem, uh, maybe a small problem that can take up another 15, 20 minutes. But yeah, like on general, there is only one DSA problem. And remember, these problems, you will not be given any ID. Okay, someone is saying no audio. Am I audible? I think, am I?
Yes, you
Okay.
are.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, moving ahead. Yeah. So yeah, these kind of questions you will not be given an IDE, basically an integrated development environment to write your code. You will be given a simple Google Docs. So a lot of different features might not be present, like syntax highlighting or semantics. Those things might not be there. So you need to be mindful. You need to, like, maybe you can practice some amount of time on writing code on Google Docs. You need to take care of indentation and formatting and lot of things. You need to remember the syntax as well if you're writing code, right? Apart from that, interview round will be around 45 minutes to 60 minutes, and you are expected to write an optimal solution. So within that time frame, you have to understand the problem statement, you have to come up with an optimal approach, and you have to write code for it as well. And you have to make sure that the code is pretty clear. It shouldn't be the case that you write a basic, right? They don't run your code. Yes, Tamanna, they don't, and they will not run your code on a compiler. Through a compiler, basically, they will, like, the interviewer will judge your um, approach, and they maybe ask you to try run your solution. They can give you some set of inputs, and they will say that, okay, hey, if this is the set of inputs, how your code will perform, and then you can try run it. But they will not run it on a compiler. That's for sure. So it's only the approach that matter and complexity. Yes, not only the approach, actually, how you write the code, right? Uh, how clear, how clean your code is. But yeah, like, that's correct. Approach uh, do take a lot of bandwidth in judging you for a DSA interview. But apart from that, a lot of things are still there, like your code clarity, your way of communication, and how you are coming up on the approach. And all of these things matter as well. Okay. So 45 minutes of time, and you have to do all of these things. And then if you are not able to, like, if you are not getting any hint, then, or if you're not getting the approach entirely, then interviewer might give you hints, because see, like, interviewer does not want you to actually fail the interview. So they will try their best, actually, whatever power they have to, like, want you to clear the interview or get the solution. So they might give you some hints so that you can get unstuck and you can proceed to the uh, interviews ahead. So yeah, these are the three things which we need to keep in mind when you're giving a DSA round. Okay, there are a lot of questions, actually. If any question is skipped, do ask it at the end. But yeah, I will try to take any questions here if it's relatable. Are the questions easy or medium hard level of lead code? Falguni, I cannot actually judge the difficulty level, but yeah, it's definitely not be easy, because easy level problem on lead code are very easy. You can expect a medium hard or a medium level problem. Okay. So a good question by Aditya, how important is, okay, where the question, but yeah, how important is the correctness of syntax if the logic is correct? See, if the logic is correct, then syntax does not play a very huge role, because they will not be running. But yeah, they will be expecting you to write decently correct code. If you are not remembering syntax, it means that you have not practiced writing in that programming language well, and it can be a negative factor for some of the interviewers. But yeah, logic matters a lot. So if the syntax is not correct, then it can be a problem. Not sure, but yeah, it can be a problem. Okay, let's move on. Preparing for your DSA round. So there are a lot of tips and tricks which I'm going to show you, which you can implement if you want to, if you are practicing for a data structure algorithms round. And these are the tips which you can practice beforehand. So suppose your interview is 1 or 2 months down the lane, then you can practice these tips in order to get well versed in DSA. So the first tip is quality before quantity. So we get a lot of hype LinkedIn or around YouTube that I am, or on a resume as well, that I have solved 500 problems or 1,000 problems or something like that. But yeah, so we get a hype of number of problems, right? But what I expect, or what do I feel, is that you shouldn't uh, judge this by the number of problems you're solving, right? You should actually judge by the quality of the problems you are solving. So here, like, don't focus entirely on the number of problems solved. Instead, focus on covering more topics in depth, right? So there is no point that if you are solving like 200, 300 problems alone in array, or stacks and you are just leaving other advanced data structures like graph and trees or heaps on the sideline, then it will not help you much in the DSA interviews, because in those interviews, like they try to ask good problems on good data structure. So you might get a problem related to array or stacks, but there is a huge chance that you can get other DSA problems as well. So try to keep your breadth as much as possible. Right? Try to cover as much topic as you can. And that is the first thing. And make sure that whatever problems you are solving are of good quality. No, don't try to solve lots and lots of easy problems. Okay. Now, another tip is the same thing. Don't solve a huge number of problems for a similar 2, 3 topic. That will limit your range actually. That's what I'm saying. So if you're solving a lots and lots of array or stacks related problem, then it will limit your range into that particular domain only. But you have to like enhance, or you have to extend your domain to other data structures as well, right? So you have to make sure that you are practicing other problems as well. You're evenly distributing your skills in other data structures as well and practicing each and everything. All right. So that's the first step. Pick one topic and try covering different aspects of it. Once you're confident, move on to the next topic. And that's correct. So you have to give a certain amount of time on a single topic. That shouldn't be too less and that shouldn't be too much, right? There should be a sweet amount of time which you dedicate to a single topic. If that is done, then you will move ahead to the next topic. You should be like very well, you should have this idea, or you should have this just that okay, in this topic I have solved good amount of problems with decent difficulty and wide variety. And I think that this is done. There is no point of solving more and more problems at this topic only. Let's pick another one, and that's the time when you move ahead to the another topic. And in this way you try to want to a lot of topics, and you try to cover as much topics as possible, or as much hot topics or hot data structures possible, so that it will enhance your chance in the DSA interview round. Okay, a lot of questions again. What do you suggest on sheets available like Stripe or Love? I haven't tried on these sheets, but I have like seen people praising these sheets a lot. So yeah, if you think that but this particular sheet with this particular number amount of problems can help you, then okay. But there is a problem with the sheets as well. As they like grow, or as they become more and more um, known in the community, interviewers will step back from using, like if they have any questions which fall onto these sheets, then they will try to like change the question, because they know that a lot of students are already practicing from the sheets and there is no point of asking questions which lie in the sheet only. So make sure that you don't rely on the sheet alone, just rely on the concepts. That would be a better solution. Okay, all 3 rounds will be similar DSA problem. You can ask the interviewer that question, but yeah, like general structure is that the starting 3 to 4 rounds are data structures or problem solving rounds in the SWE interviews. Are the question repeats? Nope. The question, like the interviewer tries their best that the question does not repeat. So you will not get a repetitive question, or you will not find a question. These kind, like the questions which are asked cannot be found on Lead Code. Exact question though you cannot find, but yeah, there can be a similar conceptual question maybe on these other platforms, but you can't find exact questions. Okay, moving on to the next step. So the next step is that use your time wisely. Why is that? Because you all are working professionals. No one is here who is still in college, right? So being a working professional, you are already involved in a 9 to 5 job, and like 60 to 70% of your bandwidth goes into that job. So how to, like, you need to manage the remaining time efficiently. Whatever 10 to 20% bandwidth you have on a single day, you need to make sure that you are like solving good questions, or you are practicing, or you are practicing for the interview, or preparing for the interviews, right? There is no point of uh, wasting that time, because that time is precious. We are no longer college grads, and we don't have lots and lots of time in our hands, right? So that's the first thing, is that solve good quality of problems. Like I can give you a number targeting 20 to 25 easy, medium to medium difficulty problems will be helpful in grasping your concepts in that particular data structure. So suppose I pick up heaps, then I can go on to a platform and I can pick easy, medium, or medium difficulty problems, 20 to 25 problems. And I can start practicing that. And that can be a good number given that those problems um, cover a wide or a different aspects of that data structure algorithm. Then this number can be a sweet spot. And after that, you will be in a good position to solve different problems on that data structure, and you can move ahead to another topic, right? So that is a because you have less time and you cannot practice 100 200 problems on every data structure. You will like you will get exhausted, or you will not be able to prepare well till the interview comes, right? Another thing is that don't aim to solve hundreds of easy level problems. That's another thing. Don't try to solve lots and lots of easy problems, because we have this um, we have this likeliness that whenever we get a easy problem, we want to solve it because we want to see this that green tick on the compiler that okay, you solve all the test cases. But remember that at after some time, these easy problems will not help you much in leveling up. So you need to make sure that you are solving good problems. So after when you have reached a particular level, don't try to solve easy problems. Try to upskill and try to solve the problems which are at your level, or above your level. Try to solve those problems which a DSA topic can be applied to a problem. And that is correct actually. So if you read a basic data structure, and you're gonna understand that okay, these are the things which is there in the data structure. But when you solve good problems on the data structure, then you will find that okay, these are the use cases, or I can apply this data structure in this problem that I did not thought that before. But these good problems help you think that what are the different use cases where you can apply a data structure. That will help actually in the interviews. The problems will be new, and at that point of time, your skill of understanding that which data structure should be fit, or which algorithm should be fit for this particular problem statement, will help you in cracking those interviews. All right. So that's important. And again, the third thing is if you're in a job, you might solve 2 to 3 problems daily. Make sure those are worth it, right? Because like when you are in a job, so suppose you're coming back from the job around 7 to 8 p.m. at your home, then you not have the power to solve 30, 40 problems on a daily basis. You max to max will be able to solve 4 to 5 problems, or like 4 to 5 good problems actually, because every good problem takes some time. So 4 to 5 good problems would be the max you will be able to do. So make sure that you're solving some good amount of problems, that you're learning from every problem, right? Okay, this is done. I am seeing a lot of general questions. We'll try to take it up at the end of the session, where I can find such type of problem. I mean, in which site. So there are a lot of different sites. In Coding Ninjas as well, they have their own problem statement and like, coding environment where you can solve problems. Okay. Will there only be coding question, or they will be from our resume skill set as well? So, Priya, if it's a data structure or a problem solving round, then they will not ask much question from your resume. The main focus of the interview would be to provide you a coding problem and watching you actually solve it. So their main focus will be on the coding question. Okay. Now, third tip, participate in the contest. So that's a very underrated tip, actually. And there are reasons why I am saying that you should participate in contests. The first thing, that interviews are made for testing an individual on how they can solve an unknown problem. Because in these interviews, you will not be knowing the problems beforehand. So whatever the problem will be presented to you, it will be a completely new problem. And that's where contests will help you, because in any contest of the platform, if a platform is organizing a coding contest, then there is a huge chance that those problems will be completely new, because there are problem setters for those platforms who set this completely new problems, right? And that's what happens in interview as well. You will get the problems which you haven't not seen. First thing. Second is there will be a constrained time limit. So suppose if you are in a TSA interview, there will be 45 minutes for you to solve one problem. Similarly, in a contest, you will be having 2 hours to 2 hour 30 minutes to solve 3 to 4 problems. So this is a time constraint. So within that particular time constraint, you have to think the logic, implement it, and solve the problem, which is completely new to you. And that's what an interview looks like. So that is why participate in the contest. Second important thing is that when you pick a problem, when you pick a like normal problem, you can have you can understand, or you can know what data structure, what algorithms, or what category in which that problem belongs to. So you can simply go to a graph topic and you can pick a problem. So when you pick that problem, you will know that, okay, this problem can be solved with graph data structure because you have picked that problem from graph anyways, right? So you know that it can be picked from graph. And that is a big thing. That in that case, you are not thinking out of the box. You're thinking only into the graphs. Like how I can solve it using the graph. But in the interviews, it's not the case. The interviewer will not tell you that which topic the particular problem belongs to, right? You have to widen your thoughts, or you have to think out of the box to understand which data structures or algorithm you need to pick to solve this problem. And that's what interviews are for. And that's what, coding contests are for. In coding contests as well, you cannot see the topic of a problem. You have to judge which data structure algorithms you have to apply in order to solve that particular problem. And that's why you should participate in contests, because they are very, very close, or a very to very simulated environment, a simulated coding environment, I can say, or a DSA round environment, right? So a contest are very aligned to a DSA round. So you can try to practice more and more, participate in more and more contests, right? In a contest, generally the problems are new. You have the time to solve those problems, and you don't even have a visibility. That's what like that. That is what we discussed. First thing, you have completely new problem. You don't know the topic, and the third thing, you have a time limit to solve those problems, and that is why you should participate in contests, because those will actually, like in interview, when you are actually in a DSA interview, you will not fear, or you will not be like having so much of problem in tackling completely new problem within a particular time limit, because you have already done that in contests previously. Okay, so these are the three tips which I wanted to share. These needs to be done before a DSA round. Like if you have 1 or 2 months, you can practice all these tips, or you can inculcate all these tips in your practice sessions, and you will be benefited. Third, the third thing is that ace your DSA round. So here I am talking about what else you can do when you are actually into a DSA interview. Right now, you are into the interview. Interviewer is in front of you. He or she has presented a problem. Right then, what are the things which you can do that will increase your chances? The first thing is that continuously communicate your ideas and approach with the interviewer. That's what a lot of candidates skip. So whenever they are given a problem, they will blindly start solving it or writing code for it, and they will not, like, just like a coding environment, they will not gonna think that, okay, there is an interviewer sitting in front of me. But actually in a DSA round, you should continuously communicate. If you are trying to implement an approach, step back, communicate to the interviewer saying that, okay, hey, I think that this data structure algorithms can be implemented to solve this problem, and I'm thinking to go ahead with that. What are your views on this? Then they can also say that, okay, yeah, this looks good to me, you should go ahead. And try to make a two-way communication, right? Try to involve your interviewer into your problem solving approach. And then he will also feel that, okay, like, I'm understanding that how the candidate is thinking or what they are trying to implement. So that's the first thing. Second is that you make sure you write a clean code, have a dedicated method to do a single task. Don't complex the solution with long methods. Keep your code formatted. So the first thing is that you are writing in a Google Doc. So you make sure that you format your code well. Second thing, you, like, whenever you're coding, don't try to put everything in the main method and make the main method exceedingly large. Instead of that, try to break that method into smaller and smaller dedicated method, which does a single thing, and try to reuse those method in your main task. That's what separate good coders from normal coders. So if you're a good coder, you should be writing good clean code, right? So that interviewer will have this image of you in the back of the mind that, okay, this candidate is solving the problem, but with that, this candidate is also solving the problem by writing clean code. And that's what they actually want in development. They will not want a candidate who is writing scrappy code, right? That's the second thing. Third is do communicate the time and space complexity of your approach. And that is a good habit. Whenever you discuss a coding problem, you need to have some matrix on which you judge your approach. And these are the two matrix, that is the space and time complexity on which you judge your approach. So do make sure that you talk your approach, and at the end you do add what are the time and space complexity you are expecting when you implement that approach. That will give an interviewer a good idea that, okay, this candidate knows what they are talking about. What are the space and time constraints in which your problem will, or your approach will be running. So these are the three very good tips which you can inculcate when you are actually in a DSA round, right? Okay, so any questions in the tips we can take, like any doubts you have? Okay, I have been interviewed with Google even when with a requested mock interview, I was close enough to but failed in the fourth round. But the other question is that there's compiler being used in Google interviews. Why is it so? But the other question is that if there is no compiler being used in why? Okay, that's what I thought that when Google started using compilers. Yeah, Google is not Google, like any other company as well, Amazon and Microsoft. I haven't seen any company using compiler in their DSA round. They can have a dedicated application for you to write your code, but they will never run your code in a compiler because in order to run your code in a compiler, they have to give test cases into that compiler so that it can get tested, right? So that's why they do not do that. They're trying to keep it interviewer to interviews, right? Interviewer can make you try run the code. Okay, I gave it in Hacker Earth. So I'm not talking about Hacker Earth. Those are online assessments. Those are different things. Those are not in-person DSA rounds. Those are online assessments that happens in order to filter out the candidate who can be called on for the interview. So those are different things. The contest happening on Hacker Earth or Hacker Rank, those are online assessment. Those are different things. Those are like those are the standard coding contests which you like participate and you clear. Okay, sir, I'm learning DSS by solving question. Is it good? Yeah, yeah. That is the best way to learn DSS. Should we start with an okay? That's a good question, Priya. Should we start with an optimal solution or gradually uh, go to the same after identifying the edge case? That is really good. So I personally feel that if you already know the optimal solution, you should not directly jump onto that. Try to build a story. Try to maybe start with a brute force approach, and then you can tell that way that okay, this is the brute force, but I think that these are the improvements which I can make, and this is the data structure which I can use, which can even like outperform this brute force solution, and I can implement that, and that will make up a story, and that will help the interviewer to understand that okay, the candidate is thinking this way. So yeah, you can start gradually with the brute force, and then you can implement an optimal solution given the time constraint. Definitely. Okay, memorization mechanism is a good approach, or else other way of DP is good. So memorization is a part, uh, but DP is a wider topic. Memorization is a part of it, which you can implement in recursion as well. But yeah, if you're like going on with DP, there are a lot of things, a lot of other things as well, right? Making a DP equation, understanding the problem. Okay, can I start a DSA in C# language? Yeah, definitely you can start DSA in any language. Just make sure that if that's a new language for you, then you try to make sure that it has a good community support. I have seen C++ and Java has a very good community support in DSA. And so why not, like if you are stuck, you have a good community to help out. So I'll pick up those languages. Yeah, DSA with Python is good. I've seen a lot of people doing DSA with Python. Okay, cool. So we are we'll start the problem solving session. So I will present a problem here and we'll see how this can be solved. So this is the problem. Try to read it. You are given a m cross n integer matrix and there are two properties. So the way the numbers are presented on a matrix, it's in a non-decreasing order or basically in an increasing order. So you can see here the numbers are increasing. The first integer of each row is greater than the last integer of the previous row. That's what it makes a Z fashion, right? So the first integer of the next row is always greater than the last integer of the previous row. So you see 1, 3, 5, 7, and then the next row is 10, 11, 16. So it is in an increasing order in the matrix. Now, the question is that you have given an integer. That's a target integer. You have to return true if the target is in the matrix. You have to return false if it is not, right? Very simple question. Uh, at the end, I have written you must write a solution in O log m cross and time complexity. Cool. The first thing come to my mind. Okay, the first thing which comes to the comment section is binary search. Abdul is mentioning, and that is correct. Actually, we can solve this by binary search. What do you folks think? Any other approach or like how you will solve it using binary search? Okay, people are saying binary search, and that is correct. We can solve it in binary search. brute force is linear search. Okay, tell me one thing. If you will apply brute force, what should be the complexity? N cross M, N plus M cross N. Okay, I am having a mixed answer. Okay. Some are saying N plus N, some are saying M cross N. So when you do a linear search, you are going into each and every cell. So you basically count how many cells are there. So currently this is a 4 cross 3 matrix. So there are 12 cells, 4 into 3. That is why the complexity is not 4 plus 3, it is 4 into 3. That is the number of cells in the matrix. So that is order M cross N. So the time complexity will be M cross N for a brute force solution. I hope that is clear. Now, since M cross N is the number of cells in the matrix, in binary search, what happen is that it becomes log of n, right? We are always log base 2 of n. We are always dividing the solution in the two halves and going in one direction. So that is why it is log n cross n. That is the binary search. Now the good thing about this is we can easily implement this by brute force by iterating on the matrix row wise or column wise, and we can check if that particular element is there. We return it immediately. That's a good approach. That's a very simple approach anyone can implement. But yeah, we will talk about the binary search. So in binary search, we have to do is that we have to first convert this matrix into an array, right? And then we have to apply a binary search, right? No, minip is not required. We can do that. So I have 10 minutes. So I'll quickly show you how we can do that. I'm gonna share my another screen here so that this gets clear. Okay, just wait a second. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna share again. Okay, just let me know if my screen is visible or not. If it is visible, then you can write yes. Okay, yes. Okay, then if my screen is visible, you must be seeing Notepad here. So I'm gonna quickly show you what I am saying by uh, calling it as an array. Okay, perfect. So you will see this is a matrix, right? And suppose I have a 3 cross or a 4 cross 3 matrix, what we shown in the diagram as well in the right side. Now every matrix has a cell, right? So if I like denote this by a number, so I call it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So this is nothing but actually the index, or I have indexed this particular, okay, share screen not visible. I think it is visible. I think it is visible. If it is not, just let me know in the comments, but I feel that the screen is visible currently. Yes, visible. Okay. So this is currently I have assigned index to each and every cell. Now there is, okay, just wait. Okay, cool. So it is visible. So we'll not do a linear search, we'll do a binary search. So the idea here is that if we have provided an index, we don't need this. We actually need, in order to find a cell, we need that I and j value. So basically this is for the row and this is for the column. So the idea is that we will use this index to get the value. So how to get that? So if you see, this is how much? 3 cross 4 matrix, right? So if I pick this number 6, right? And if we want to find how many, like at which index it falls, so I can just simply do a modulo of 4 and I can divide it by 4. So if I divide it by 4, then it will give me 1, right? And that is basically the, the row ID, right? So this is basically the row ID here. Now, if I do a modulo, it will give me 2. And that is nothing, but that is the column ID, right? That is the column ID. So this is the formula which will give me the exact place at which this cell can be found in the matrix. And that's what we will use. We'll do a binary search on these indexes, and using these indexes, we will gonna get the I and the jth value of the matrix, and we're gonna check that element in that particular matrix. And that's how we apply a binary search here. So everything will be done the way we do the binary search for a linear array. But when we get that particular index in the linear array, we will use this particular algorithm to get the row value and the column value of the matrix. And that's how we'll solve this particular problem. So why we divide by 4? Because we have to get the row number, right? So all these all these numbers in this row, if we divide by 4, it will get a 0. And that's what their row ID. All these number, if we divide by 4, we get 1. That is their row ID. All of these numbers, if we divide by 4, we get 2, right? 4 to z, 4 to z, 4 to z, 4 to z. And rest of the things, you get the number division, right? We don't take it in decimal. We do a ceiling of it. So every number we divide it by the number of uh, rows, we get the row ID, right? Or basically the number of columns, we get the row ID. And if we do a percentage, we get the column ID. So all these numbers, when we percentage, we get a 0 because all these numbers are divided by 4. All these numbers, we do a percentage, we get 1, right? 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8, ऐसे ही यहाँ पे 3 and here 4, right? So I hope that this is clear. If the column is 6, then divide, yeah, that is correct. If the column is 6, you divide by 6 and you'll get the results. So basically divide by the number of columns, that is m. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize it again. So that was the approach actually. And if you'll see the solution is pretty clear. So we are doing the binary search on this particular uh, matrix. We are using a start and end. End is basically m cross n. So we are doing a binary search on the looks like a linear array. But whenever we are getting this index, we are extracting their row and column ID using that formula. We are dividing by matrix 0.length. That is actually the length of the column or the number of columns. So we are dividing it, we are percentaging it, we get the row column, and then we actually perform the classic binary search. If it is the target, we return it. If it is less than the target, we search the left part. If it is greater, we search the right part. And doing this, we can do a binary search on matrix. Can you please repeat again about rows and columns? Okay, I do have to share, maybe share the free form again, but yeah. So this is what I have mentioned. So every index, you can divide it by the number of columns to get their row ID, and you can do a modulo with the columns, number of columns to get the column ID. That's what if we have picked 6 here, we divided 6 by 4. 4 is the number of columns here. So we divide 6 by 4, we get 1 that represents their row ID, and we do a modulo with 4, we get 2 that represents a column ID. And this will hold true for each and every number in the matrix, right? This will hold true for each and every cells in the matrix. You can like by the indexes, you can reach to the particular matrix cell using these two formula for rows and column ID. I hope that is clear. Can you increase your screen resolution? I can do that. Where you got the number 4? I got the number 4 because this matrix is a 3x4 matrix. You'll see 3 rows and 4 columns. It has got messy because I was explaining, but this was a 3x4 matrix, and 4 is nothing but the number of columns. So you only want number of columns to get the row and column ID. That's a good part. Okay, any questions, or this approach was clear or is clear? Okay, thanks. That works. Good, glad. Okay, cool. So probably like before moving forward, I will take up some of your questions, right? Before that, I would like to share something with you. So based on my experience, if you are planning to for a career transition, it's crucial to upskill and have a solid roadmap. So it is important you have to save time and get the right mentorship, right? And I highly recommend this investing in a paid program that helps you to build your profile from scratch. So experts like myself are available to teach you in that program, and it's fine if you want to go ahead with a self-study, but in times like this it's really important that you have a tailored roadmap. So if you want to understand how a paid programs can help you with faster career transition, then you can fill the form and you can get a chance to connect with the program expert from Coding Ninja's team in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and they will explain about how a full stack web development 9 months job bootcamp that offers you a comprehensive training and placement assistant till you land your first job after the completion of that particular bootcamp. So, but before that, we're gonna pick up some questions from here. So, any questions about this approach or related to this session? I'll be happy to take that up. For someone who has 3 YOE, at what level should we interview for at Google? So if you have a 3 years of experience, you'll probably be interviewed for an L3 or an entry level role. It's very hard to get an L4 level. You should be ideally 4 to 5 years. So yeah, you can expect for a C2 or an L3 level role. Okay, Arca sir, basically we do in binary search. First we equal the elements, then we calculate the left part and then right part of the function. Uh, then anyone is not present and return minus one, and then no, that's not we actually do in binary search. So in binary search, we do not build the left and right part. We only focus on the current element which we have found and the target element. So if the current element is less than the target element, it means that your target element is ahead, or basically your target element is found can be found further. So we go to the right part. If the current element is greater than the target, then it means that the target is on the left part, because in the binary search the arrays are always sorted, and that's how we decide on which side to move. And since we always divide the array into two parts, that's why the complexity become log base 2 of n, because we divide the array into two parts every time, and that's why goes into like it cuts half of the search space in every iteration, and that's why log base 2 and becomes the time complexity. What is L2 and L3? So L2, L3, L4, L5 are the roles or the positions, or you can say the hierarchy in Google. So L2s are generally interns, L3 are the entry level engineer or a mid level engineer, L4s can be a mid to senior level engineer, and L5 are definitely a senior engineer or leads. And then L6 are the staff engineers, and L7 are the senior staff engineers. And after that, L8 are VPs and directors. So that's how the levels work in Google. Okay, how to get interview call, referrals, or career site. You can do networking. You can reach out to people on LinkedIn, or if you have anyone who might be a friend or you known to you who are working in these companies, you can get your referral through them. Okay, how to get a call back from Google for the interviews? What points do they look in the resume? So most probably in the resume, they look for good problem solving skills, first good projects, and a decent education background, right, which you are applying for. How to crack internship at Google? Same process. You have to apply through a referral or the open positions whenever they do, right? And probably the number of positions for internship is quite low, so it becomes really hard to crack internships at these companies. But the chance for a full-time role is pretty much decent as compared to internship, I feel. Any difference between SWE or SG? Nope, no difference. In Google, we call them SWE. Nothing else. What level is for someone who has 3.5? Probably L3 will be there for 3.5 years of experience. If you are 4 to 5 year experience, then you can maybe ask for a L4 role. After how many days you will be eligible again for after a 6 month, they have a cooldown period of 6 months, basically.